Oh, we got the one shot back. Coming up on today's episode of DLLS Mavs, it's a Mavs game day. Who's in, who's out? Plus, Marc Stein joins us live from the American Airlines Center with his news and notes on the Mavericks and around the league. All that and more on today's episode of DLLS Mavs. Here we go.
Sausage.
Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Grant, alongside Mavericks insider Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys cover your favorite team every single day. You can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line on X for our national and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein. It's a Mavs game day as the preseason gets underway for your Dallas Mavericks tonight at the American Airlines Center when they take on the Memphis Grizzlies. So much to get into.
Kind of a game day.
It is a game day.
It is a game day.
It's officially a game day.
Well, the Mavericks playing or?
Some of the Mavericks are playing.
A few Mavericks are playing tonight.
A few Mavericks are playing. We will get into who is and who is out tonight, who's in and who's out tonight for the game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Plus, Marc Stein will join us live from the American Airlines Center a little bit later on in the show. Hopefully, you all had a fantastic weekend for DLLS Sports. Gentlemen, good to see you on this Monday. How are we feeling today?
You know, I was also doubtful. I was at an injury designation leading into the show today. But you know what? I'm powering through.
What element are you dealing with?
So many to name.
Sound like Luka. Good job. All right, cool. Age?
I went on a little bit of a win streak last night, and I'm knocking on the door of Master Inc. and Pokemon Unite. So I'm so close.
I thought you were talking about sleeper or something.
Oh no, I'm maybe I'll have better luck next week.
Okay. Maybe better luck next week. Well, shout out to the Cowboys. They got a win. So the DLS Cowboys podcast show. Shout out to them, by the way. They was up until like 1 something in the morning doing the show. So that's the kind of coverage we got for you here at DLS Sports up until the wee hours of the morning, bringing you the best.
That'll be us soon.
Yes, it will be. Ooh, those 9:30 start times. Look, as a 37-year-old man, I have learned that if this wasn't my job and doing this professionally, I would not stay up past halftime watching these games. Like I'm completely washed.
Well, I hope everyone stays up for our post-game shows once the season starts.
I mean, I'm gonna be lit for the post-game shows. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be ready for the post-game shows. But if this wasn't professionally my job, I'm grateful that it is. Man, washed. I went to the Usher concert this weekend at the AAC.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shout out to Usher. Great show. Got home at around like 12:15. Was up till about 1 a.m. When I tell you, your boy didn't wake up till like 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Washed. I'm completely washed.
9 a.m.
Yeah, that's
for
like
Tim. That's like, when was the last time you woke up that early?
I was up at 7 a.m. this morning. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, my bad.
But
see, but neither one of you had kids, so sleeping until 9 a.m. is like a real thing.
That's like
for
noon.
a parent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, because I'm up at like 6 a.m. every day trying to get the kid ready for school.
My body clock is starting to activate. It's like 8:15, 8:30 on the weekend, like at the latest. Doesn't matter if I'm up till 2. Doesn't matter if I'm up till later.
Yeah.
My body clock is.
And I'm that's the latest I can go.
I'm a 9 a.m. body clock.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I'm jealous.
I really have to. I wake up and then I can get back to sleep at 9 a.m.
Oh, I can't.
Sometimes. Yeah.
By the way, Ardell says, Tim, do you have carpal tunnel from all the sewing that you were doing this past weekend?
Yes, from the sewing.
Oh, we got those emails. I got an email too, folks. I saw people in the Die Hard Discord talking about that. Our shirts are on the way, baby.
Woo! Let's go.
They are on the way.
So excited. It's been the worst bit yet on this particular program, but the shirts are coming.
No, it's been the best bit.
No, actually,
live unboxing on DLLS Mavs.
Oh, we're gonna have a live unboxing of the shirts.
If you complain about the shirts, that means you're complaining about me. So don't do that. I did my best.
We want Tim to be around for the show, so please don't complain about Tim and how fast or slow he's sewing these shirts.
I'm gonna have to start skipping shows to re-sew them. Y'all have complaints about them. Y'all don't want that.
Speaking of skipping, there are several Mavericks who are not playing in tonight's game as they take on the Memphis Grizzlies in preseason game number 1. We do have the official injury update from the Dallas Mavericks on who is in and who is out tonight, namely who's out. Luka Doncic, left calf contusion, out. Kyrie Irving, rest. He's going to be out. Klay Thompson not making his debut tonight. He will be resting as well. PJ Washington Jr. with left hip tightness. Maxi Kleber with a left ankle sprain. Dante Exum, which we'll get into a little bit later on in the show with our guy Marc Stein. He's got a right wrist injury that could have him out for significant time.
Dante Exum, not Marc Stein.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Marc Stein is in perfect health.
He's in great health. Yes. Brandon Williams is out, and Kessler Edwards is also out for tonight's game against Memphis. Initial reaction based off of what we know on the injury report for which Mavericks will be out for tonight's preseason.
That's like almost all the guys I've heard of.
Yeah, a lot of the guys you have heard of.
No, I mean, kind of to be expected. NBA preseason is shorter now than it was when I started working in the league, and it's going to get even shorter soon. I mean, last year, the Mavs, Luka and Kyrie played the first quarter of the first game, and that was pretty much it. I wasn't expecting to see those guys on the floor for 36 minutes. We'll probably have to wait. I would hope, how about this?
Oh.
Do a little promo. I would hope that we can see the Mavs play some pretty much regular dress rehearsal basketball on October 17th, because we might be doing a live pre and post game show for that.
We are
yes,
doing.
We will. Be.
As for tonight, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, we will transition to kind of game coverage.
Yeah,
game coverage structure. Last preseason game, and then every regular season game to come, and postseason.
Yep. October 17th is when the Mavericks play the Bucks. That'll be when we have our first pregame and postgame shows for that particular game.
I think Fan Jam kind of hinted, or let the cat out of the bag, to use an expression. Never a dog out of the bag. I don't think you can
unless you're in your bandit era like I am for Bluey.
But yeah, none of these players. I want to say, am I forgetting? I thought Brandon Williams did play. Maybe I should have checked
I'll
the
have
box
to check
score.
the official box score on that.
Yeah,
one.
It also doesn't list God Shammgod as being out, because God Shammgod got on the court for about 3 seconds and did nothing with the ball, but did get an assist.
You think Sham will have more assists than Luka during this preseason?
That's
Does
quite
Fan Jam
possible.
count?
Right.
Because quite possible.
Maybe.
I think Luka gets on the court last game of the season. I just don't think it's going to be much. But yeah, all of those players missed Fan Jam. It's still a fun event. It's for the fans. Obviously, it's in the name. It's a free event.
Is there a lot of jamming?
There was a decent amount of jamming. Actually, quite a lot of dunking.
Yeah.
When you're not playing
cool.
When you're not playing even preseason intensity defense.
Yeah.
That leaves a lot of room for dunks.
It felt like Naji Marshall and Derek Lively were trying to channel their inner Lob City during the
yeah. Do y'all want a few observations?
Sure.
Just stuff I saw.
Yeah.
I thought Naji, his game, there's a lot to it. Now, this is a perfect setting for him. He was leaning into, I believe, he said afterwards, Jason Kidd kind of describes him as it's like you kind of play like an East Coast hooper. And East Coast hoopers are known for, being able to dribble and pass and do a bit of everything. But certainly dribble and pass, like everybody, it doesn't matter what position you play. He's a 6'7" forward, but this is something fully he's capable of. And like seeing it on the court, he was just so confident with the ball in his hands. This is a guy who's going to get out there and, he was throwing underhanded lob passes all over the place. He was throwing, like intentionally throwing them a bit higher than he needed to, just to test he was playing with Derek Lively, just to see, what Lively could do with them. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, showed some moves too, like kind of broke somebody out down off the dribble and got into a turnaround, jumper in the lane, like a little 12-foot sort of shot, nailed it. That was a fun game for him, a fun game to show that there's a lot he's going to show this season. Just a fun little, environment for him to lean into the fun that this entire event was all about. So that stood out to me. Quentin Grimes having a very quick shot release stood out to me. We knew that about him, but man, he gets that up. So I would say out of the players, as much as you could take from it, those are the two that kind of caught my eye. Those are the two that, were most involved. They're on different teams, and they seemed the most involved in what was happening. Got some other reactions. I don't know if you guys had any responses.
I want to know
to
about
that.
this whole Klay reaction. There was a whole viral moment. It sounded like, the whole "we want Klay" because he was sitting on the bench and Mavericks fans were ready to see some Klay Thompson on the floor.
Yeah, he didn't start the game, so it was pretty clear from that. If he wasn't going to play, he would have played from the start. So
is he like afraid of the pressure or something?
I think so. I don't know if he's really ever been on this stage before.
Okay.
The Mavericks Fan Jam.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Maybe he should play the preseason game tonight then. Maybe he should,
but no, he's going to be out. So when when the chant started, and it was the end of the first half, they played 2 20-minute halves, both of them running clock. When it ended, or at the end of the first half, that's when the fans started chanting, "We want Clay. We want Clay." And I will say that's the most fans I've ever seen, by far at a fan jam. I even saw one member of the Mavericks kind of was walking by the scorer's table, and then just kind of stopped. And that's when he realized how many people were in the building, and he looked around, and I said to him, like, "This is the most I've ever seen," and he said, "Yeah, for sure." So definitely the hype, the excitement of just by the number of people who showed up. I remember last year, granted, the people who it was right during a Cowboys game, so that might have suppressed it. The Cowboys game being at night on the road may have helped attendance a little bit. But yeah, that stood out to me. What also stood out was just so when they started chanting, "We want Clay," Kyrie, who was pacing the sidelines as the nominal head coach of his team, kind of looked at the fans and shouted, "It's a long season. It's a long season. It's a long season." He said that like 3 times. So yeah, it is a long season. It's okay that Clay's probably not going to play the first couple games. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tim Cato, you just have a knack for getting on
smile
camera.
on your face.
I was an assistant. I was advising Kyrie on what to draw up.
What's
That's not
piquing
true.
your interest here?
We were just looking down the court. The action was on the other end of the court. Everybody's looking down that way.
By the way, for those
Yeah.
who are just listening on the podcast, this is a photo of Kyrie Irving looking onto the floor with Tim Cato sitting next to Mike Curtis and Nick Angstad there with big grins on their faces.
Yeah,
looking really happy to be at the AAC on Sunday.
we're not entirely sure what we were looking at. I can't remember, but it must have been something fun. But yeah, we were all down there looking at the action. Kyrie was checking in on us. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys seeing?" He was not doing that.
Did he ask you to draw up a play for him?
He did not. I was going to ask him if there was a
Okay.
chance. We chatted for a little bit, me and Mike and Nick and Kyrie. But one thing that was funny is Luka's on the other side, and he's nominally coaching the other team. And about halfway through the first half, he convinces Maxey. At first, he started sitting, but eventually stood up, started pacing the sideline, as you would see a head coach. Kyrie mentioned something like, I knew I'd get him to stand up. But then Luka goes to Maxey, who's also not playing, gets his jersey, turns it inside out, so turns it to the color of Kyrie's team, and then for several straight possessions steps onto the court, like trying to get someone to pass to him, which I believe is not what a head coach is allowed to do.
Well, I mean, Jason Kidd has
about to say,
bending the rules too, so
exactly.
you learn from the best.
Exactly.
I love it.
So Luka did not succeed. He did not get anybody to pass to him. There was one moment he thought he was going to get a pass. It was kind of a fast break, but the guy passed to somebody who had already ran past him. But it looked for a second like the ball was going to him. So there's a moment of a little bit of trickery, a little bit of fun, and then of course right before everybody walked off the court, he yeets a full court shot that we're gonna have to talk to Derek Lively and see if there was actually money on that shot. Because I believe Luka said it was $100K, and Lively quickly pushed back on that on Twitter.
Oh, that's Bobby Corella money.
Okay. I don't even know the math, but I might have like 100,000 pennies, maybe.
Oh,
okay. That's being generous.
Okay.
You don't know the math? That's $1,000.
Okay, I have about 100,000 pennies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought you weren't a math guy. Look at you.
That's hardly math.
I'll even
Hey,
go
I'm
so
just
far
saying
as
what
say
you said. You said you wasn't a math guy.
I
Look at
might
you
even have
acting
100,000.
I'm not a math guy.
All
I'm not a
right?
math guy.
I am big ballin'.
I'm a money guy.
like-
Now 100,000
He's a
dimes,
business.
No.
You put a little
No.
dollar sign in front of some numbers. Oh man, I'm an expert
Okay,
at
that's right
that.
there.
I'm an expert at spending.
Put that zero
I'm an
there,
expert
that comma
at
there.
hustling for a little money. So you put it's not math anymore.
Did Tim Cato just say he was a hustler on this program? Is that what he just said?
I could probably hustle someone at pool.
Be careful.
Oh, is that a
I don't
challenge?
actually. I don't tend to
People-
bet on.
People get a little weird whenever money's on the line. You
That's
don't
a
want to
good
admit
point.
to being a hustler.
That's a good point.
Find
That's
out
a good
you're a
point.
hustler, they will take care of you.
All right, let's move on.
Coming up next year on DLLS Mavs, which Mavericks are you excited to see play tonight, and who are you expecting to play well? Plus, what did we learn from training camp? All that and more coming up here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
It's my favorite time of the show. It's time to talk about floors. And specifically, not just any floor, not just some floor out here that you might be standing on, unless it's an Empire Today floor. In fact, if you're standing on a floor that isn't Empire Today's, then what are you doing? It's time for a better floor. With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats. But Empire can't be beaten on quality, on service, on speed. So competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. I hope you're not standing on one of those right now. But Empire won't promise you lower prices, because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in yours. So what you're doing, if that's what you're standing on right now, you need to schedule a free in-home estimate today. Every listener can receive $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions do apply. See Empire Today/DLLS for details.
And with the money you save, you can buy yourself a nice pair of Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank, just like my guy Bobby Corella has his on right now, looking cool as the other side of the pillow. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all of your outdoor adventures. Hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors, like the Mavs. I wear Shady Rays like Bobby and Tim as well, because the fit and the clarity is absolutely amazing. If I'm going outside, having activities with my daughter at the park, great wear for there as well. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear, backed by lost or broken replacements. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try yourself the shades rated by over 300,000 people today. What have we learned from Mavericks training camp, and which Mavericks are you looking to see play well tonight in their first preseason game as they take on the Memphis Grizzlies? And a little bit later on in the show, our National Mavericks NBA insider Marc Stein going to be joining us live from the American Airlines Center with his news and notes, as well as a preview of tonight's game as well. Mavericks getting on the floor for the very first time in preseason action, gentlemen. So we know who's out for tonight's game. Who are you looking to see play well for the Mavericks that will be on the floor tonight, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, with no Luka, with no Kyrie, with no Exum, there's a lot of guard minutes to fill, and obviously that's been like the thing that we've talked about more than anything else, really, because most of the pecking order, most of the hierarchy kind of makes sense. It's pretty intuitive, but the one lingering uncertainty is who is the third guard, who's the fourth guard, who's the fifth guard, because the Mavs have 6 of them, and that's not including two-way player Brandon Williams. That's not including Clay, if you count him as a guard, which I don't really think we do, but maybe he is. That's not including Naji Marshall, who's kind of a point forward. So there's a lot of guys vying for not a lot of minutes. Now, I don't believe that if someone scores 25 points tonight in game 1 of the preseason at home against a road team playing their first game of the preseason, that settles the debate or anything. Like, I think this is going to be a season-long deal.
You remember John Jenkins?
I do remember John Jenkins.
He averaged like the 4th most points in preseason.
Oh,
the
he was
Mavericks
great
in 2015.
Yeah, he was very good that preseason. Yeah,
yeah.
You know, so
2017.
It doesn't, you know, nothing means anything. I know that's very nihilistic. Eat Arby's, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be a season-long thing. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of Dinwiddie, a lot of Hardy, and I would imagine a lot of Grimes tonight. And we'll see which, or maybe how many of those guys can have good games.
The Hardy party may be open tonight at the American Airlines Center for the first time this year. And we'll get into more with Marc Stein a little bit later on, but I mean, we've gotten some unfortunate clarity when it comes to some of the guard play and potential rotation for these guys based off of the fact of Dante Exum having his wrist injury. So Hardy's got an opportunity here to be able to make some impact in a preseason game to show what he's got and hopefully continue to show his improvement as the rest of the season goes on as well.
Yeah, I think seeing what Naji can do in that setting, like I was just fawning over him, over you know how fun he made the Fan Jam. Preseason, obviously, it's a little bit more serious, but there is a vacuum of ball handlers, and he showed that he could do some fun things with the ball in his hand. I think that is it's kind of like it's a crash course in getting to know his full skill set. It's not that he needs to be doing all of these things all the time. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. He probably can't have the ball in his hands as much as he will in, let's say, tomorrow's preseason game. In the regular season, he's probably not efficient enough to earn all that, but it's a good look at, oh, he can do this, he can do that, he can do this. And all of these things in a, when you reduce the amount that he's going to be asked to do them, that only makes it more useful when he can actually pull one of these tricks out of his bag and deploy it, within the context of the fully healthy Mavericks lineup.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want to be the wet blanket guy, but there's really not a lot to be gained from watching Naji run point forward if there isn't Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving running around, because most of what he's going to be doing is exploiting little gaps that are created by those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how many minutes he'll play this season without at least one of them, if not two of them. And so, it's probably going to look pretty clunky. It's probably going to look pretty uggo, I would think. 20 turnovers, not for Naji. For the team.
I said, wow,
Naji,
really lowering the expectations here for Naji
no.
Marshall. Good gracious.
It was just Friday. It was just Friday that you said he was the player you most wanted to watch.
Looking most forward to watching.
No, I think a lot of the ball handling, a lot of the playmaking, a lot of the guys that earn respect are not going to be in the lineup tonight. So it's going to be a lot of Dinwiddie, a lot of Naji, a lot of Hardy, and not a lot of space. Maybe it's going to look clunky. So I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff. But I always try and watch preseason and evaluate players based on what they can do and what the plan is for how they're going to be incorporated into the rotation and what the team is going to ask of them on any given night. So for Hardy, if you can make shots, great. But what I want to see him do is put the ball on the floor and make passes.
Yeah.
That's what he has to do in order
playmaker.
I want to see if he can stay in front of anybody. I want to see if I don't know who's playing for the Grizzlies. If Ja's going to play, obviously that's going to be tough. But if it's Grizzlies backups, hey, Jaden, can you stay in front of those guys? Quentin Grimes, can you go make someone's life miserable for a minute? Even if you go 0 for 4 from 3, how are you looking on defense? Spencer Dinwiddie, how's your lob game? You're playing with Lively and Gafford tonight. Can you find those guys? That's the kind of thing that I want to see.
And I still think some of that, point taken. I still think some of that applies to Naji. If he can, sure, he's not going to be asked to isolate somebody with 14 seconds on the shot clock. And maybe tomorrow he's going to be doing that just because there's a lack. Or tonight. Jeez. Just because there's a lack of other options. But there will be times where he's asked to isolate with 6 seconds shot on the shot clock.
He's going to get kickouts to the corner, and you got to do something right now.
Yeah,
please save us.
So I think, just trying to watch the game in the context of the players missing. It's a hard thing to do, and it's not going to be at all times revealing of what this team's going to look like in the regular season. But it's still the best, the most useful thing that we have to watch tonight.
Let's take a quick stab at who's going to be the starting lineup tonight. I'm going to go with Spencer Dinwiddie running the point. Obviously, Lively going to be at center. I'm going to go with Hardy as your 2 guard, maybe. And then who else? Who else do we think?
Naji will start.
And Grimes.
Quentin Grimes.
Yeah. So probably a little bit of a smaller lineup. It's a little bit smaller, but I think you can put Naji at the 4.
So go Spence.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Jaren Jackson is out for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're gonna have one big old.
How does that affect the sleeper?
You're gonna find out for us, aren't you? So I'm gonna go Spencer, Hardy, Grimes,
Naji, Lively. The starting 5.
I think
those guys will probably play the first quarter, and it's going to be a lot of green team minutes tonight. Although some of those guys are even out too, with no Brandon Williams, no Kessler Edwards.
Right.
Omax, you can play 35. Hardy,
your boy Omax will get a lot of run tonight.
I would imagine Hardy's going to get a ton of minutes.
Yes.
Jamarian Sharp, Dwight Powell, Markieff Morris, we might see those guys in the second half. But when even some of the guys that are on 2-way contracts are also hurt, it's man, there's not a lot of guys available.
Yeah.
I mean, they have training camp bodies, people that, quite frankly, I could say their names, and I'm not even sure y'all have heard of them.
Well, yeah, but you have 21 players, and 8 of them are out, and then another 5 of them are probably only going to play the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
a lot of guys going to get some runs that normally won't get the opportunity. Will definitely get some.
Now
run.
there are guys vying for that 2-way. So there's only it's only Brandon Williams and Kessler Edwards on 2-ways, right? And then
AJ Lawson.
Yeah. Marc Stein has said that AJ, in order to make way for Markieff Morris, they might waive AJ and then re-sign him to a 2-way deal. But you got Jazz Gortman, Emmanuel Miller. They got some guys that are vying for that 3rd spot too. So the second half will be pretty interesting to watch those guys, see how if they pop off at all.
Anything that we learned from training camp that intrigued you based off of them now back in Dallas, obviously with their first preseason game tonight, kind of putting a bow on training camp and spending time out in Las Vegas? Anything that we learned and gleaned from training camp that stuck out to you most as we now get ready to turn the attention to the preseason now?
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's still so early on, and so few players have played that I think it might be that we don't learn a lot this preseason.
Yeah.
Based off all the injuries,
and that's
based
fair.
off who's playing right now.
Exactly. Yeah. I would agree with that.
It just might be that this is not a preseason that, we have a ton of things to glean from.
There's a lot of known commodities that we are just waiting to see them play in regular season basketball versus anything that we need to maybe learn from the preseason in this particular case.
I think the biggest thing we learned is actually from Marc's interview with J-Kid.
Yeah.
About, maybe some tweaks to the offensive system, maybe seeing Luka off the ball a little more. Like, that stuff is really interesting. Now, will it actually happen?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll probably have to wait another week and a half or two to see if that, and really 6 months. But we're not going to see any of that tonight. But we will see a lot of it soon. That's a reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Let's see if Derek Lively breaks down any of these newfound post moves that we started to learn about in training camp and see what that looks like.
Take Zach Edey down to the block.
So are you ready for Zach Edey versus Derek Lively?
I'm excited to watch Zach Edey play. I am excited.
Yeah.
And Zach Edey will make Derek Lively look small, and that is going to kind of break my brain.
That's
I'm going to be like, what? What?
Edey's a big guy. He's a very big guy. His transition to the league is going to be one of the more interesting storylines to watch for Memphis this season. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what Derek Lively's got, and maybe some of the if he breaks out a dream shake, I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, just know that. But we'll see what happens with Derek Lively tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to at least get some somewhat real basketball on the floor. The American Airlines Center will have 3 Mavericks preseason games. The other preseason game for your Mavericks will be at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles when they take on the Los Angeles Clippers. But they got 2 preseason games this week, not only today, but also on Thursday as well. We'll see what Mavericks are able to make some impact as they get ready for the regular season.
One last super quick thing. It is funny that Jamarian Sharp, he's 7'5". He's on a training camp deal. He's going to be – so the Mavericks are going to have a player as tall as Edey, but just completely opposite body types.
Yeah, about 150-pound difference between those two guys. And that's almost not an exaggeration.
I don't think it is. He's 235.
Edey's got to be at least 350. Dude.
235 is
big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ardell. Said, look, don't freak out if the Mavs lose a few early. Schedule is brutal. Yeah, definitely.
82-0.
Oh, Bobby's got the
excuses.
86-0.
I don't know.
How about 98-0?
Yeah, we're talking preseason.
98
and something.
I mean, they lost to a non-NBA team and then went to the final. So
that's true. Coming up here in just a moment, we'll have Marc Stein live from the American Airlines Center as he drops his news and notes in the Stein line, plus a preview of tonight's game against the Memphis Grizzlies. All that and more coming up here on the DLLS Mavs Podcast.
They say first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions? That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew helps boost your confidence in the bedroom so you can stay hard and perform at your very best. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. So here's how it works. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. You don't have to go stand in line at a pharmacy or go to some stodgy doctor's office and have an awkward face-to-face conversation with the rando. No, you can just do it all online. It's quick and easy and discreet and very, very simple. And they say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and it's so true. And Blue Chew can help give you confidence where it counts. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
RuggedRoadOutdoors.com for the best coolers in the game today. Go to RuggedRoadOutdoors.com. Use code DLLS for 10% off. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you for every adventure. Crafted to handle the toughest environments, their coolers are built to last, ensure they keep up with any adventure. Coolers guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days. Oftentimes, though, even longer than that. So if you need to keep your drink cool, don't worry about it. You can use Rugged Road coolers to help you out. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities from fishing, tubing, to camping and tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure today with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off today. Marc Stein is going to be joining us right now.
Oh, my God. There he is.
From the American Airlines Center, Mavericks taking on the Grizzlies tonight in preseason game number 1. It's time to dial up the Stein line here on DLLS Mavs with our national and Mavericks NBA insider. You can find him on X at the Stein line. He is Marc Stein. Marc, what's going on?
Gents, I hope you can hear me okay. First time trying to do this from inside the arena. Quite an experience. It's actually, I love a near empty arena. There is something very serene and peaceful and just magical about an arena that's not yet, that where basically almost all the seats are empty at this point. There are a few people working at floor level, but I was just here to see Grizzlies shoot around, and what are we, 6+ hours away from the game? So
It's an
first
early
time
tip,
back,
which is nice.
I can't remember the last time I was in here. So
You can't remember the last time you was in the American Airlines Center.
it had to be, I guess it would have been the NBA Finals. So
Yeah?
I don't think I made it here this summer for any reason. So yes.
Well, your internet's working very well, so no problems there. So no London situation, so we're good to have that. So you're all good to go there. So with that, obviously, there he is.
Hi, Marc.
They wanted to see you so badly. Bobby and Tim were like, we want to see Marc so badly. And now they get the chance to talk to you and see you as well. You guys get you happy now you see?
I'm just
No,
confused.
good.
Seems like you're
Look,
doing.
me and Marc, we've done this before. We used to have the conversation ourselves. We was just talking amongst ourselves at this point.
You keep coming up with more and more creative ways to not be in studio with us.
Yeah, Marc. Like, are you ever going to come back here?
Tomorrow,
Oh, you'll be here
tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a surprise, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But
Ooh.
tomorrow will be.
Well, we have a surprise for you.
I've actually got a.
Oh my God.
You remember this? Do you remember this? For folks who are listening to the podcast, we do have the infamous suitcase in studio with us today, as you can see here.
I kind
Or
of think
listen
the
to.
suitcase should just take my mic and
Do the show.
and do the show.
No,
do the
I
rest
want
of the show
Marc to
for
stay
me.
on the show, so we're going to remove
No.
this. No,
I leave the show.
No.
Even my very tech savvy son was like, "Don't you guys transport cameras in Pelican cases and things?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's what I thought. I thought there would be some fancy case to take all of our cameras to Vegas." And I was actually looking forward to. I've never transported the cameras for any on-camera thing I've ever
Called
done.
a
So I was like,
Pelican.
Yeah,
A Pelican case.
Pelican is the brand, yeah.
Well, this one looks like a flamingo case. So
Yeah.
Ah, clever.
yeah,
thinking this
color-wise,
like,
it checks out.
would be cool. I'll get to actually, transport some stuff and yeah.
Mrs.
Basically,
Doubtfire
it was
would be proud of this suitcase for sure.
body luggage out of GM Ben's closet is what they gave me.
So what'd you learn? What'd you learn at shoot-arounds today?
I was not at the Mavs shoot around, and you guys obviously saw the very expansive update from the Mavericks about everybody who is not playing tonight, which is pretty much none of the starters, bar Lively, will be out there. So I think we're gonna. But look, there is still something to see. We get to see Mr. Grimes, we get to see Mr. Marshall, we get to see both Gafford and Lively go up against Zach Edey, and I can't say that we got to see a ton here at Grizzly shoot around, but the most interesting, I guess, notable thing is just watching Edey shoot free throws, and there's one very large human. So I think Bobby already touched on it when I was listening into the last segment. I mean, look, there will be plenty of things. Obviously everyone wants to see Clay make, a Mavs debut in game conditions, and and everybody wants to see the full squad, but something tells me we're going to have no shortage of things to laser in on and dissect tonight.
Obviously, the big news over the weekend for the Mavericks from an injury standpoint regards Dante Exum with the right wrist injury. What more can you tell us about Dante Exum and what is going to be next for him moving forward with the Mavericks?
I don't believe they have yet lasered in on the exact treatment scenario, but basically I was told he took a very hard fall in a training camp drill in Vegas, landed on the wrist, and came away with, obviously, for him, it's a huge setback because we know, he dealt with injury woes last season here in Dallas, his maiden season as a Mav, dealt with injury issues in the Olympics, and now is dealing with this wrist deal. So it's just been one thing after another, and it's something he's faced throughout his whole career. But, again, the Mavericks, we've talked a lot about the depth. And if they have depth anywhere that just jumps off the page, it's in the backcourt. I mean, they have guards, and guards. So if you're going to sustain an injury, that's probably the area in the roster that can respond to it best. But, training, they already had both Luka and Maxi Kleber sustaining injuries in Sunday's pickup game on the eve of media day, before they even got to Vegas for training camp, and then to have to deal with an in-training camp injury just a couple days into practice is never fun. But honestly, look around the league. I mean, there have been injuries all over the place already throughout the NBA. A lot of guys came into camp with limitations, and then a slew of injuries that have already happened just in the week since teams have been on the floor. So unfortunately, it's always the worst part of the league, the worst part of the sport. Injuries suck. There's no other way around it.
Mark, do you have any sense of best case, worst case in terms of timetable?
To this point, I don't think they've gotten that far. And I think there has to be a decision, is a surgery required? Can this heal without surgery? I think they're still working through all of those evaluations, and we will get Jason Kidd before the game tonight, so I'm sure he'll be asked for an Exum update. Maybe when we speak to Jason Kidd, we'll get some more detail there, but at this point, I think we still have to wait for that clarity.
Yeah, just armchair speculating here. I mean, if we're talking surgery, it's probably a couple months, but again, we'll find out more. That will be the first question I asked. Unless somebody beats me to it at tonight's pregame press conference. That's obviously the...
Make sure they don't beat you to it.
I will ask it right away.
Okay.
I'll say, hello,
will
Jason. Bobby Carella said...
Just you.
Do what?
Will you and Kevin Gray be at that press conference, or just you?
Tim's going to handle this one tonight. I'm on daddy-daughter duty this week. My kid's out of school, so parenting, you know how that goes.
Yeah. And I know Bobby tied up with his various administrative / Shady Rays duties that he handle when the show is over.
I will be there.
Since we've started
covered.
Streaming, about 112 more emails have filtered through to me, so I've got plenty to do.
He's got plenty of work to do.
I got us covered. I'm the beat writer here for a reason. I got this on lockdown.
Tim said he got this on lock. Okay,
I will be at the game tonight, though, and I do just want to share. It is my first time going to a Mavs game as a non-Mavs employee.
Wow!
Since OJ Mayo was on the team, so. We're talking more than a decade. So it's going to be. I'm going in through it.
It's a homecoming for you tonight.
As a fan, yeah. But like, I'm going in through a new entrance today. Like, it's a new era.
I have never, not one time, been as a fan.
Oh wow!
I didn't go to games growing up.
Will you come out at court? Will you come out to the court and do your pregame hit with Chris Arnold?
I haven't been asked to do that. I actually would if they asked me to.
I'm actually. Out there, I'm going to text Chris Arnold and request that he bring you out of the stands to do your pregame breakdown of this game.
Who's the funniest non-Bobby Mavs employee? They should make Jonathan Lim do it.
Ooh, Jalen previews? That would actually, those would go hard.
I think I would really enjoy this. Anyway, this is a topic that is only...
It's inside baseball.
Yeah, this is only funny for me and Bobby.
But this is actually humorous inside baseball, so I'm going to continue down this road. when I first got to Dallas more than 25 years ago, I pretty much had zero television experience, none. My first TV experiences in those days, I don't remember if it was Fox Sports Southwest or what it was. I don't remember what Bally's was called back then, but the morning news had an arrangement with what was Fox Sports Southwest, or again, whatever was titled, that the Mavs beat writer came on at halftime. And you were either interviewed by Jim Durham, the legendary Jim Durham, who's my absolute all-time favorite announcers ever, or Chris Arnold. One of the two would interview you. Whenever I did them with Chris, his go-to move when it was time to rap was to step on my foot. So, Bobby Karalla, I am going to ask you, has Chris Arnold ever stepped on your foot when you guys are doing your pregame video board interview?
No, he has never stepped on my foot, at least on purpose. He might have, at some points over the years, because we've been doing them for a long time. We've probably done 300 or 400 of those. But he's giving me a lot of fist bumps, and I think those are delightful.
I love
fist
bump is the best.
I love
maybe
fist
you
bumps.
were so concise, and maybe you did so well that you never went long, whereas I'm
He actually has chronic foot numbness, and Chris has been doing this entire time. And
usually the producer's giving me this sign,
like, hey,
stop, hey, shut up, hey, stop it, throwing stuff at me.
That's what Tanner does to us.
Gear at the pro shop.
Yeah.
Not when we're running low on, not when we're like cutting in on time. Whenever I'm going down the rabbit hole of a very bad bit, Tanner's over there like,
wrap that up, okay? Wrap that ish up.
He's done it 7 times today.
More with our guy Marc Stein here on DLLS Mavs here in just a moment as we get you ready for the Mavericks taking on the Grizzlies in preseason game number 1. All that coming up here on the DLLS Mavs Podcast.
But first, let's shout out some recent diehards. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Kevin, not Gray. Different Kevin.
Okay, shout out to Kevin.
Fred. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Justin, Tyler, Davis, Mitch. They and more signed up to become a diehard over the weekend. And whenever you go to alldlls.com/diehard, you can also join that illustrious club. Whenever you do, you get a free shirt, which pays for half the membership fee almost. And we all got our messages. We all got our emails. Shirts are on the way, baby.
Let's go.
It's time. I'm going to be donning them soon. In addition, you get to access the entire website, including all the paywalled analysis and content from our writers like Tim and Joe Hoyt and Clarence Hill on Cowboys, Sam Nestler on the Stars, Jeff Wilson on the Rangers, and more. You also get to join the Die Hard Discord. You get a discount on all merch orders. You get a discount on future events. So we got a Cowboys event coming up here pretty soon that's actually going to be open to the public. But if you're a diehard for events like those, you actually get priority access. So there's only a certain number of spots available. If you're a diehard, boom, you get first dibs. So there's plenty of reasons to become a diehard. I just named some of them, and there's so many more that Tim and Kevin are going to help me out with right now.
Including getting a physical diehard card as well.
I always forget about that.
You always forget about that part. alldlls.com/diehard. You get a physical diehard card to show off your membership. Member-only Discord, 20% off events, premium content. Also, pre-game shows, post-game shows, all kinds of amazing stuff as you become a diehard member as well.
Yeah, and our first pre- and post-game, now this is open, this is available to everybody on YouTube. Our first pre- and post-game is going to be October 17th.
That's right.
Versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We're doing pre- and post that night, baby. Pre-game starts about 30, 45 minutes before the game, and post-game is 10, 15 minutes after the buzzer. We got you down from game night until game morning.
But what we're doing,
we're
doing recaps of games, observations about what we're seeing. I'm doing the one tonight, the one on Thursday. Bobby's going to do one next week.
Yep.
We got it handled.
alldlls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today. As we bring back in our national and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein, you can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. Mavericks Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. at the American Airlines Center. First of 4 preseason games for your Dallas Mavericks. They have another one a little bit later on this week on Thursday as well. Mark, as you are at the AAC, what did you learn from training camp that you are looking to see potentially carry forward into this preseason, or other observations from your time out in Vegas now that the Mavericks are back in Dallas, now prepared for preseason play?
I would say tonight, because so many of the projected starters aren't playing, I really want to take a look tonight at Grimes. I've heard raves about the way Grimes has shot the ball in training camp and just the way he's played. When you ask around for players who've, quote, looked good, Grimes' name is always cited. And so tonight, with no Luka, no Kyrie, no Klay Thompson, etc., I think Grimes gets a chance to really to really shine. I want to see Naji Marshall as well. It'll be his first go in game conditions for the Mavs, unless, I don't think we can really count the Fan Jam as game conditions. Do you guys?
No.
You concur front?
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Who went to
that's
I was not able to attend.
I was there. We talked a little bit about on the first segment how Naji, it was a very good environment for him. Like, he's a flashy passer. He is, he absolutely has that in his bag, as the children say. And he is
adults now.
Okay, fine. You're
Yeah,
right. The children are
most-
onto a newer,
most folks say
cooler.
that.
You
slang
might have
word.
heard people use this
Correct.
slang term.
But he's a
They might not use that the way you just said it, but that's okay.
he's a fun player, and the glorified, having fun pickup nature of Fan Jam, like, he really shined. I thought he was, the player who did the most, brought the most fun, had the most noticeable plays. I thought that Quentin Grimes was pretty solid, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him and his jump shot and everything that he's able to do on the court. I think that's going to stand out. We'll see who the starters are. I think it could be Omax at the 4 instead of Hardy as a 2, and kind of bump everyone down. That's also an option in terms of the starting 5. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
How did Shammgod look in the Fan Jam?
He didn't do anything.
He
He didn't do anything. He subbed in for one moment, and he got the ball, and he dribbled it down, and he did some crossovers, and then he just passed it to Jaden Hardy, who made the shot. So he had 1 assist. He didn't even try to break down. I forget who was
This is the
guarding
most
him.
excitable you have been on the entire
Maybe
show today.
it
What
might have
happened
been
there? What is
Emmanuel
going on
Miller.
there?
Jeez.
Jeez.
But I wanted to see something. I wanted to see him dribble.
The excitement in your voice and the animation right now, Tim. My goodness.
What did you
Simmer
off
down.
at
Where's
God
get
Shammgod,
some-
dude?
Right. Jeez.
You don't get a lot of chances to
Sham
watch
is such a
God
nice
Shammgod
guy.
dribble.
That's
That's
very
true.
true. That's
Yeah.
very true. Mark, as you
Say that again.
What did you want him to do?
The Shammgod.
I wanted to try to do a crossover
I'll demonstrate
and
it if you
get
want.
off a
Like,
jump
no,
shot.
do not demonstrate.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
not do
Demonstrate.
that.
Okay.
Demonstrate it.
Okay, so now we got someone saying that. So,
Stein says
you're-
do it, so go ahead.
You're dribbling. We don't have a basketball in here.
No, we sure don't. You got to simulate
it's a
that.
cut dribble.
Give him his
Yeah,
wide
so
shot, 10.
you're
There you go.
dribbling and you're gonna go like you cross over.
But yeah, you
instead of
cut under
crossing
it.
over, you kind of
Uh-huh.
do like a curve ball in basketball. So it's gonna like a baseball. So then it's
Mhm.
hits the ground and then bounces back to you this
You
way.
start
So
you start on
you're
top of
almost
the ball
it's,
like here,
Almost
and
a,
it's
it's almost a palm. You're kind of bringing it under your sort
yeah,
of
but it's all one
slicing the
motion.
ball.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
something.
By the way, every time I try to I've never in a in a pickup game, but anytime I try to do that, it doesn't work that
No
well.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I don't have
not
the-
gonna lie to you, not too surprised.
I don't have the je ne sais quoi, So, but I'll
Mark, are you a good ball handler?
Many years and pounds ago, I was actually decent, but that's
Yeah.
so far in the rearview mirror that it's.
Did you
it's a myth.
used to play a lot of basketball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a more fun sport to play?
It's a really fun sport to play.
I was surprised you didn't say soccer or tennis, one of your 2 favorites that you love.
Those are my other 2 favorite sports, no question. But they're playing basketball with your friends when you're a kid. I don't know if there's anything better.
What kind of player are you? I'm trying to figure out your sort of your identity on the court. What does a 5-on-5 Marc Stein look like at his peak?
It was so long ago that it's really a stretch to even try to describe it, but I wanted to be a point guard, pass first point guard. That was the intention. But as a lefty, I also
Isaiah
love
Thomas.
I was addicted. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I was addicted to the baseline J. I don't know what it was, but what would be considered a terrible shot today, a baseline J inside the 3-point line. But
the analytics would not agree with Marc Stein's choice of jumper.
I mean, to be honest, I don't agree.
He had no analytics in the 80s.
Yeah.
70s.
I've got, nothing wrong.
The 3-point shot wasn't even a thing whenever you were, so it was a great shot. The baseline J was a great shot.
Oh, we got real off topic.
That lefty baseline jumper, that's the Avery Johnson shot.
Tanner's like, we're going to put this back on. We got some questions here that folks want to answer.
How uncharacteristic for Tim to get us back on track.
Yeah.
How many minutes will Daniel Gafford play per game? What does the team need from him to maximize his value? Shout out to Ardell.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying a 28-20 split. But unless we're just talking tonight, I mean, tonight it's going to be like 15 each. And
if that, maybe.
Yeah, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not even that. But yeah, I think a 28-20 split. But again, some games Gafford's going to play more. Some games against weaker oppositions, he just makes more sense. He is so good at dominating lesser talented, less physical opponents. Whereas Lively's skill set applies even better to 5-out space teams, to teams where all 5 players in an opposing lineup are threats to score or to take you off the dribble. That's a situation, or to shoot, and that's a situation where all of a sudden some of your traditional pick and roll defense is going to be exchanged for stuff like other stuff, exchange for switching, exchange for other stuff. Exchange for other stuff, guys. Yeah, that's when you switch. That's when you switch. Sorry, I got like halfway through that point. And
your God Shammgod
it was a fine
just
point.
getting to you at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I'm still annoyed. Like he should have done something. I'm going to talk.
That was not an invite for you to drop more takes on how you felt about God Shammgod.
I'm going to talk to Sham about this. I'm going to tell him how disappointed I am, and you know what? I'm looking for an apology.
He gonna look at you with a real crazy look, like, no, get out.
No, I love him. Sham loves me.
Let me ask you guys before you turn back to the chat. Can you see in the picture what hat I am wearing? Yes.
Green Hill.
So, trivia question, or just why do you think this hat is? Why am I wearing this hat today?
Well, I know
you guys should know this. The hoop heads on this panel should instantly know this.
Well, Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins is from the Dallas area, but I thought that he was St. Mark's. Wasn't he St. Mark's, or was he Green Hill?
Yes, he was St. Mark's. Bitter rivalry, and it was worn to get a laugh on.
Green Hill School is a pre-K to 12 co-ed independent school in Addison, Texas. We embrace complexity, act with integrity, celebrate the power of differences, and the little bio preview on Google. I'm not clicking on the link. But yeah, I did not know that. I knew he was St. Mark's. I did not know that Green Hill was a rival.
Yes, bitter rivals.
It's where they filmed Girls, though. Wait, no, that's Greenpoint.
And to get a rise out of the
bad joke.
Coach. And it
I knew
did.
what I was saying.
It did work?
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
This show has been a show today. I'm not even sure where to go next with this particular show, but I'm going to try it anyway. You got this question? Thank you, Tanner. Tanner, you're the one driving the show today. Good for you, man. Good for you. From David, are the Mavs going to give Omax Bobby a real opportunity to supplant Maxi Kleber as the backup 4 this year?
Oh, that question is for me? I have no idea.
It's an Omax question.
What do you say? What do you say to the Stein?
I mean, I think he'll get a look in training camp. He'll definitely get an opportunity tonight if he seizes it and impresses. Then they have a decision to make. Is there a way to carve out some time in the rotation for him? But again, this is such a deep team. It's hard for me to see, as we speak on, in early October, what kind of role there would be for him. But I think he will get a chance, and tonight is a great opportunity when so many guys are out to, we'll see if Omax can grab that opportunity. I was told he had a good first week in camp, and we'll see. we'll see. We know Bobby Carella will be lobbying for him, but this coaching staff is very secure in the knowledge of what Maxi Kleber delivers, and they like what he brings them, especially defensive awareness, positioning, etc. So he is not, I don't think he's easily displaced.
I was going to say that defensive positioning is a very hard thing to spot watching. It's hard for us because we don't know what they're being coached. We don't know what they're being told. We can sometimes see, okay, that's a really good, swing or slide to the rim to guard. There's sometimes that it's obvious. There's sometimes it's not obvious. We don't know what their specific instructions are. But I do know, and I have heard this as well from many people around the team, this is something that they very much value in him. And when you see him go, play 26 minutes, he attempts one shot, a missed three, grabs 4 rebounds and gets 1 block. That seems like he wasn't very productive out there. And the coaching staff will tell you that the box score does not show how productive he really was within the scheme of the defense, within the scheme of what Dallas is trying to do. He's going to play this season. There's no question about that. He's going to be preferred as the power forward for Dallas, certainly to start the year, and I think throughout the season when he's available. Obviously, it's typical or it's a known thing for him that once again he's already suffering a small injury here at this point. This is a long running struggle of his, but when he's available, even when his box score doesn't always show it, this is a very valuable player that as you said, Mark, the coaching staff really specifically values as well. And that might be what we close it on.
I was making sure that, did you have any other observations, Mark, for us before we let you go here today?
Oh, just saying again, just what bad luck it was for Maxi Kleber to, twist his ankle on the day before media day, because by all accounts, he just had a great summer. He was in the gym early. He was as ready for this season as he's ever been, and bad luck injury.
Well, Mark, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the festivities of tonight's first preseason game. Look forward to having you in studio with us tomorrow to help us recap everything that takes place tonight between the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. So that's our National and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein, here on DLLS Mavs. Mark, we appreciate you.
All right, guys. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be 100%.
Sounds good, man.
We hope so, too.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. That's our National and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein, here on DLLS Mavs. Again, Mavericks kick off the preseason tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll have a full recap of what went down at the American Airlines Center. Tim and Bobby and, of course, Marc Stein with their news and notes on what happened, and we'll get you caught up on everything happening with the Dallas Mavericks. Again, 5 times a week here on DLLS Mavs. Preseason basketball is here. We will be all over it for you here at DLLS Mavs. Make sure you are following, liking, and subscribing to all of our videos and the podcast as well. Find the podcast wherever you get your podcast for free. Give them a 5-star rating and write a review for them while you're there. Basketball's here, gentlemen. You guys ready?
We did it.
We made it. We made it. Semi-real basketball is here for your Dallas Mavericks. Again, we'll be all over for you here on DLLS Mavs. For our National and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein at the Stein Line. For Bobby, Tim, I'm Kevin. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll be back tomorrow here at 12 p.m. on DLLS Mavs on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. Enjoy some Mavericks basketball tonight for your Mavs. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.